to our podcast. Today we have a very special guest. And so, without further ado, I'm going to introduce my friend. We've been rocking for a long time. You know, since days at a company that will remain nameless on this podcast, because we're not getting any affiliation money for it. so Dimples, talk to me. We're gonna be talking today about some good stuff. Uh talk to me. What's going on with you?
What's up, Mr. D? Nice to have you on board today. Today I would like to reach out to the people out there and talk about something that we don't talk about openly, to
Hmm.
bring some awareness. And I would like to share my experience with it. And I'm hoping that by sharing my experience on this topic, it will help someone. And it's also where we can also educate those who doesn't really understand it to bet, if they know someone that is going through struggles, this may be able to help them on how to communicate with them or even help them down the line or just overall just have a better understanding, that people have struggles. We may not share the same struggle. We just need to be a little bit more compassionate and understanding towards individuals when they're going through something.
All right, sounds good. I love that. I love that. So let's jump right into it. I mean, because you already gave us a couple of tidbits there. Today we're talking about gambling.
Yes.
And that's a heavy subject for a lot of people. So you gave us sort of your introduction. So tell me how you got introduced to gambling.
Well, Big D, it's a funny thing, I was a single mother that raised a son, and I had a full-time job and, just juggling life. And
Hmm.
one afternoon, I decided to stroll down the road, and I stopped at the little casino there down the street. South Florida is full of casinos. And, that particular day, I went in there, I had a little $20, and I got there and I instead of spending 2 minutes in there, when I got out there, the light was out, Big D. Sat in there and I just was just relaxing and cooling out. And the funny
Hmm.
thing is that the following day I found myself there. And after a while, my son called me. It's like, Mom, where you at? It just was a de-stressor. Is that the word I'm
Okay.
looking for? De-stress, a
Okay.
little bit of de-stressing from overwhelm.
So you had it sounds like you had no intentions of getting involved in gambling. It was kind of a getaway, so to speak, right?
Yes, it started out innocently, it was just a getaway,
Hmm.
But then
So you said your initial experience was in a casino
yes,
in South Florida.
in South Florida. Yes, yes,
Okay. Was
yes.
was the casino close to your home or?
Um, it was on the way home. It's like 5-10 minutes away, And when I started gambling, it was funny because there was just like one or two casinos. And now every corner you go on, you pretty much see one on the street corner. That's that's
Right.
that's the new norm, the casinos, you know.
Right. So from that first experience where you well you didn't mention much about the first experience. You just said you went into the casino and you kind of just kept stopping by. So tell us about that first experience that you had with gambling.
Well, just going to the casino, it's amazing because if first of all, it's full of smoke, and I couldn't stand smoking. But it's a place where you sit there and your neighbor become your friend. So you just sit there. And for me, I had no clue about these machine. I just put my money in there and hit it. It was a penny machine. And
Mhm.
one day, apparently I won $750. I remember it like just yesterday. It was
Wow.
some little piggies on the machine. And you know what the funny thing is, I didn't even realize that I won. The guy next to me in the seat told me I won. And guess what? After I won that 750 big D, whoa,
You
now
was back there. You was back there again.
oh yeah, but the funny thing is, as I mentioned, I was going there with $20 and it lasts me anywhere from an hour to 4 hours. But after winning that 750, the mindset changed, and I thought that hey, let me increase my bet. So I started increasing my bet and start losing, and you would think that now that I started losing, I would stop going, but it's the opposite. I started going more and more. And as I mentioned, I was a single mom. I didn't have the money in the first place, but for some reason, when you go to the casino, you find a way to gamble because in the back of your head, you hit 750, you're going to hit 750 plus more. So, you just keep going and going. And
So, so
one,
basically, that kind of evolved over time. You would go in with 20, but then you come out maybe with 100, or sometimes you go in and you lose, and but it kept going. Is that
yeah,
what you're saying?
yeah, it kept going. I remember one afternoon because the casino have the thing where you join the players club and they give you little perks, which when you hear these perks, you're getting feel free meals and stuff like that. It sounds really big, so they'll throw out a little something at you. I remember one evening, they was doing a raffle that which they do very often, and they call your name and you like have 5 minutes to go and get the prize. And I had I think it was like $2. My checking account was overdrawn. I had no money, and,
Hmm.
and they call my name, Big D. I kicked off my shoes. I left my purse and everything right there at the little slot machine, and I ran up there, and I got my little $2,000. Now that day, I did leave because I needed it, you know.
Hmm.
So I left and I went on home with my $2,000. But what you have to understand too, I'm telling you, I won $2,000, but now I can tell you don't really win because if you think about what you have lost,
Mm.
it's a like way more than what they actually gave you. So with that $2,000, guess what happened? I'm really drawn in. So,
Mm.
I keep going, 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 going. And I have won jackpots. The most I ever won at the casino is like $10,000. But you know, as I said, you say $10,000 sound like a lot, but if you were to go back and add up what you lost over it, it's not in comparison. So now
Right.
you get that high that well, man, I hit $10,000. You don't go home. You sit there and you're trying to hit again, and you're trying to hit again, and it just become the norm. You know better, but while you're there, it's just a high, Big D. It's a high.
Right.
You
So when
know.
when when did you realize that it became a problem? What specific moment caused you to realize that that it was a problem?
Well, Big D, I had a gambling problem many moons ago, and my father had passed away during that time, and I went to therapy, and the therapist had told me he's tried to explain that it's like something that's in your brain that triggered these things. And ironically, over time, he never told me to stop gambling, but over time I stopped. So I stopped gambling for a while, for years, and I got back on track. But then I end up going back to the casino, I would say like 4 years later with some family members on a Thanksgiving evening. And man, let me tell you, I went and I lost my little $100. And I went to the ATM and I pulled out another hundred and I lost
Wow.
it. Then I went back and I got another hundred. I lost it. And let me tell you something, Big D. I went to that ATM machine to the point of where my head started hurting me because, like I said, I
Ah,
stopped gambling and had my little savings, and I kept going to the ATM. I would say I lost a good 3 grand that night easily, you know, because
wow.
the thing with addiction, gambling addiction, when once you're in that casino, you don't think about it as gambling. It's just, I can't explain it. It's just something take you over, because while you're sitting at that machine, especially if someone next to you is winning, you feel as if you're going to win. And what this casino is set up to win, but we don't know that. So what it does, let's just say you're playing a slot machine, and you need 5 cherries to get the jackpot, like let's say $20,000. What they do is they entice you. They send you 3 cherries. Now you feel that, and then when that fifth one is coming down, Big D, they pull it back.
Right.
So guess
Oh,
what? Even if you're at your last, you feel like, man, it's
I
coming.
just gotta. Yeah, I'm gonna get that one last one.
You're gonna get that one last one. But let me tell you what they do to you. They wait until you get down to your last
Oh,
dollar, and then they throw out, let's just say you put $200 in there to get go, then give you back exactly that $200, maybe with $50. But you're forgetting, say you came there with 200. So in your head, you thought you won 200. And in actuality, you only got a little profit of $50. And you
so
keep
there's a
playing.
little psychology to it then.
Yes, they play with your head. So now
Oh wow.
you're beefed up instead of getting up. I used to have a little joke. What I said to people, because in the casino you gain friend. I said, you know what? They say, listen, I gave you your money back, you stupo, dumbo, kobo, but you sit here and give it back. So now that you know what they do now, they take it all back. And when you get down to that dollar, it's not going back up. Then guess what? You go home with this pain in the back of your neck, and your thoughts are, if only I had gotten up when they gave me my money back.
Man,
So listening to my story sounds very easy, but when you're actually in that situation, your common sense goes out the door. Big D,
goes
what you
out the
have to
window.
understand, addiction is something that it doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, yellow, brown. It does not discriminate. It's going to take your money. And it's not only a little person like me that gamble. You have big corporation or movie stars that gambles.
Right,
But we just don't talk about it you
right.
know this is a subject that we don't talk about. And I think the reason why people don't talk about it, Big D, is a thing that's called being judged,
Hmm. Hmm.
judgmental. So as far as this time around, I would tell you this. Based on research, it says that the first time around you can stop. The second time around is the hardest.
It's the
And
hardest.
yes,
Okay, that
it's
that 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 kind of dovetails into a question I want to ask you in regards to impact, right?
mm-hmm.
So, what I want to know if you've had relationship impact from getting involved in gambling, right? How did it impact your relationships,
It
work or otherwise?
gambling does impact your relationship with your loved ones, family, friends, job, everything,
Hmm.
because it takes a toll on you. One of the things with gambling is you hide things very good. You're smiling on the outside and you're dying on the inside. What I mean by that is that you may have $30 and you live with your husband, and you give the husband who gambles that $30 to go and pay the bill. And
Hmm.
being that he's a gambler, he's going to take that $30 and go to the casino and try to double it. In Jamaica, we,
Ooh.
we call wash it, you know, we call it wash it. So you go there with the $30 and you throw it away. So now you have to go and first say, go to your friend and borrow $30 to cover the $30 what your wife gave you to pay the bill. But
Right.
the sad part about that is depends on how far and how deep you is. You're gonna take that same $30, that $30 and go
And
back
try to get it back.
and try to get it back. So now you're down $60. So now you're gonna go to another person, and that's what it does to you. It's called cover up, the cover up, trying to recover what you have already lost, and you start digging the hole bigger
Mhm.
and bigger and bigger. And then it starts that small, then it goes to from just the light bill to where you're taking your mortgage money, you're taking the car payment, you're taking the car insurance. And big days sound like wow from the outside if you don't gamble, like how can somebody be so careless?
Right, 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 right,
It's just something
right.
that just take overpower you. It's a high. It's a high. So let me say something. A gambling addiction is no different from a person who may have a drinking, alcohol problem, or
Okay.
drugs, a drug addiction problem. Some people who shop, like spending money with shopping.
Hmm.
It's no different. Some people who have addiction with porn, it's it's just a different name, right?
Right,
It's a different
right.
vibes. You know, you try to fight it, but no matter how you fight it, it just consume you. So it takes strength, and you have to ask for help. You know, whether
Thanks.
it's
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
you know, there's a lot of resources out there, and every not two no two person is the same. I have gone to Gamblers Anonymous several times, but I don't do well with the group setting. So you know,
Right.
I started doing the therapy thing one on one. um but the thing that worked for me this time around is honestly is become forthcoming with my loved ones that's in the church, good friends, that you know there is no judgment. So it's been it's been a while now since I have a gamble after I expressed myself to a cousin of mine that is a Christian, and
Hmm.
she prayed with me, and she hold me accountable. And so
So
you need a team member who
community. So you need community to hold you accountable and to be there as support,
yes,
basically.
yes, and
Okay.
you have to be able to for the first step in this process is to admit it, and that's the thing is as individuals we have to be careful when someone come to you and say you have a problem. Bear in
Yeah.
mind,
We
it
gonna
took a lot for that
we're
person
gonna
to own
yeah,
it.
we're gonna get to the admission of that. But before we get to that, I wanted to ask this last question in regards to impact, the impact that it has on your life. Um, what was the most significant consequence that you faced as a result of your gambling?
Um, the worst significant, the good Lord brought me all the way down to where I have nothing, mess up my credit, my bank accounts are drawn. I didn't stop. I keep going until I was down to nothing. So
Wow.
it messes your life up mentally, emotionally, every aspect of it, you know, because you tend to beat yourself up because you know better, you know.
Hmm.
You saw that they have a saying, when you see the train coming and you just stand up and make the train lick you down, and that's what I it did for me. It took me, I have always admitted that I have the problem, but I the 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 strong point of me where it's like I will sit and say, you know what, I can do it on my own. I can do it on
Hmm.
my own. And I will get up every day and say, I'm not going to do it. And it's a habit. Gambling is like a habit, like even going to your job where you
Hmm.
have a habit of getting up every day and you practice your trigonometry because you're not good with math, or you practice um, your analytic skills. It's pretty
Mm-hmm.
much the same thing with the gambling. You're practicing to be a winner. So every day you're going to tell yourself today is going to be the day. Even though if you just take a step aside, down the line, it probably better you don't do anything because it put more pain on you
Mm-hmm.
because you're going and you're putting your money in and you're walking away with nothing. So you have to kind of look at it in the sense, okay, if I did take my $5 I'm putting I want piggy bank and don't spend it, it's better off. Sounds good, right? But when you have that addiction in
Mm-hmm.
the back of your head, you keep saying, just one more time. I'm
Well,
this today is gonna be my big
it's like a
day.
high. It's like a
Yes.
high. You trying to get to the next high.
It's gonna be it's yeah. So it's you have to try to break that habit.
Right. Well, thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that. I think you touched on a point earlier that I want you to go back to, in regards to the awareness of when you realized that it was an addiction and you felt like you needed to get help. Can you talk about that a little bit more of when you realized that, man, I got an issue with gambling and I need to seek some help.
Well, I realized that I needed help. I would say a year, 2 years ago, I hit the biggest jackpot ever. I won over $100,000. And I paid up
Wow.
everything. And my words was, I'm done, right? I said, I'm done. And
I wouldn't have been done after 100,000. I would have been like, okay, can I win it again? But I get it.
yeah, I said I was done, and I end up giving back that 100,000 plus, right? That's why I'm
Wow.
where I'm at. So I started doing some soul searching in myself, and I said, you know
Mhm.
what? This gambling is not about money, right? And one thing we have to understand that something else can trigger these habits, whether it's a broken home, something inside that
Mhm.
you need to internalize and get help for can also trigger that. So bear in mind. So I have gone to Gamblers Anonymous, and it's a good thing, group setting where you talk about everyone. And I think I personally ran away from it because we talk about the things that we all do and it all resonate with me, and there is some scary stuff that I didn't like, so I decided to do the one-on-one, the
Mhm.
therapy thing, because I think I'll open up more in a one-on-one setting. So it depends on the individual, Big D. It all depends on the individual on
So
know
what was the sign then? What was that sign that made you recognize that, man, I'm was it the 100,000 that made you recognize that this is really bad. I really need to get some serious help for that.
No, my whole life was falling apart. One of the things is when you're going through it and you're not winning, and it affects your bills. When you work your good money and you can't pay those bills, and you ask about relationship when you have a partner and they don't know your little secret and things are crumbling, it
Mhm.
affects your mental health. When I say affect it, is you can't function, you don't get sleep at night, you wrestle, you get pain, all sort of pain, the sickness, you go into depression.
Wow.
So it takes a lot of, it's a big toll on you. It
Wow.
really does.
Thanks for sharing that. It sounds like you said, it takes a big toll on you. So, but you don't want that to affect your relationship. Because Dimples, I'm assuming that you're in a relationship because you sound like you talked about your relationship. So, um, is that one of the reasons why you wanted to get help, or were you looking at it just from your own standpoint to say, "Hey, I need to get help"? Like, what's the major motivating factor? Is I guess my
Both. Both. And I have a grandson. And when you sit and you think about where you are in your life and you don't have nothing to show for it,
Hmm.
um you want to become a better you, and in order to become a better you, this one thing, you know, that it is the common denominator of why your life is spiraling out, especially when you have already broke the habit and saw what it can do for you. You just get sick and tired. You want your relationship to be healthy. You don't want to build a relationship on lies, you know. You may not be telling a lie fully, but you are, in a nutshell, because you're keeping secrets, and that's a secret that when you keep in, it causes stress on you, so
Yeah.
I admitted to my everyone in my close circle. I openly share it. Then you don't
Hmm.
have to hide certain things anymore. You need help, it makes it easier to be held accountable.
Right. Your grandson is that crucial person because you thought about him and said, "Man, I need to leave a legacy for him." And then you added that with a support system to say, "Hey, I need folks around me that's going to hold me accountable and also support me in an empathetic way, right?"
Right.
Um, because the addiction, you could get triggered again. Am I correct? You could get triggered again based
Yes.
upon how you're if you are received negatively, then you could probably spiral again. Is that right?
Yes, it can. So you have to be careful when someone come and asks for help, because you don't know what their strength is. Some people may be strong enough to say X, but some people may say, "Well, I'm asking for help. You're not giving it to me." You run back to the casino. That have happened to me going to a therapist. It was something she said that just triggered, and I left the office and went right to the casino. So it might sound like I'm weak, but no, I'm coming for help. And sometimes you don't even want the judgment. You just want someone to listen. You know,
Right.
and there's sometimes you want feedback, because depending on where you are, you just want to get it out. Like, this is what's happening. Instead of running to the casino, you run and talk to the person. It's like, I'm overwhelmed. I don't want to do this anymore. You know so
Yeah.
it's a catch 2020. And back to what you're
Yeah.
saying, you can go back, so you also have to be mindful of the people you hang with. um I tend to hear a pastor said that if you're alcohol, if you drink alcohol, one got a rum bar. So if you know that you're struggling with this addiction, friends, that I got casino, because you're gonna say to yourself, say, well, boy, I may only go and put $10 in there. It's gonna trigger right back. Remember, I said earlier, I went back to the casino, and what happened to
Right.
me? It spiraled
Right.
really easy. So you want to kind of you really want to try to stay away from that, because it's a disease. It's something that you may, for a long time or a lifetime, will never not be able to depend on the individual. Some may be able to handle it, because it may be, like I said, it may be an underlying issue that you're going through, and you just did it
Right.
for that. The casino could be fun. I mean, if you're going for fun and not for the money, but that could spiral too. You remember my story at the beginning of I went for fun. So when you're doing
Right.
the fun thing, it's okay, but you can get caught up, and that's a scary part right there. You know?
There's a saying, I don't know how true it is. Once an addict, always an addict. And so, yeah, you do have to be careful of the people that you're around and how you move with those people because it could trigger you to get back into that life. But it sounds like you're going through treatment. I kind of want to dive a little bit into your treatment. I mean, it's sort of a personal thing, so you don't have to share if you don't feel comfortable. But what has that been like for you going through therapy treatment? What has that been like for you?
Um, when it comes to therapy, honestly, it depends on your therapist. You got to find the right fit. The therapist that I see, well, I have been through many, and this particular one I'm going through, she's like the perfect fit for me. It helps. it helps you keep accountable because no matter how you may think you have a friend that you can talk to, certain things you can't share, if you know what I
Mhm.
mean.
Right.
So and also the Dario, I want my listeners to know that if you have any form of addiction, I could speak on the gambling. 1-800, you can call 1-800 what is it called? Gamble. There's an
We'll,
800 number that you can
we'll
call.
share. Yeah, we'll share the
Yeah.
800 number along with the podcast. But
Yeah.
definitely, um, as we wrap up, because we got a few minutes here. As we wrap up, is there any advice as you look back at your experience? Is there any advice that you want to give to those folks who are experiencing this sort of disease of gambling?
Yes. Try to find someone, a safe space. A safe space. When I say a safe space, find someone that you trust, that you can openly talk to. Um, and when you find that person, be fully transparent. Um, Once you get your transparency about your situation and you kind of better understand why you're doing what you're doing, it makes the process of stopping easier. And don't be ashamed. You're not alone. Um, I always wonder when I go to the casino, no matter what time, and I have slept at the casino, why is this place always full? So it's a 24-hour business. It's a business to make money, and it's always someone there.